let's see here. I hit start stream on the internet machine, but are we live? There's always a bit of a delay. Waiting on the live monitor. Okay, cool. Well, everybody, I hope you've had a great week. I am Shelby. I'm filling in for Patrick tonight. And because I get to do KOH Horror Trivia this week, I have selected a fun category. And that category is Shitty Space Sequel Horror Movie Trivia. And I misspelled trivia, so let me fix that. That's fun. Cannot spell trivia. Okay. Okay, so I'm giving everybody a chance to get in because we actually started on time for once tonight. I know that's uncharacteristic, but I'm the IT guy, so usually when I'm in charge of things, they work a little bit better. But we'll see how well our trivia software holds up. But if you're just joining us, we're doing Shitty Space Sequel Horror Trivia. So I'm talking about four. There's four movies that are actually... Three of them are the fourth movie in their series, so that's your hint for tonight. And if you want to donate to, if you do any super chat donations, you will be entered into our rolling contest where we give you some stuff out of our collection. I mean, some cool swag. We got lots of DVDs, Blu-rays, posters, weird props. We're cleaning out our collection, but we thought it'd be fun to offer those as some of our giveaways. So if you do any super chat donations, you'll be entered into one of our rolling contests. Of course, thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you to everybody for watching. And we're going to get started. So put on your thinking caps. Just a reminder that you have to type a number to answer in trivia, and only your first answer counts. It does not let you change your answer. So whatever you pick first is what goes. And there's a little bit of a delay on it, so get your answers in early, because if you let the timer go down too far, you may actually not get your answer in to the system in time. So I'm switching us over to the trivia overlay and starting the timer now. And so it has a little bit of a countdown. So like I said, everybody get in here, get ready, put those thinking caps on, and be ready to rack your brain. Just some really good... They're hard questions, honestly. I'm sorry. There's a lot of dates in these, so if you feel like I cheated you, then I'm sorry. But this is not going to be a 10 out of 10 trivia night unless you are an absolute freak and you live for some of these movies. So, once again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and the game starts soon. Joey, thank you so much. You are entered in our contest to win some random cool piece of horror or something. And like I said, that can range from anything. We've got like 100 of the like that Friday the 13th remake theatrical poster. I've just got like a whole roll of those for some reason. They're not signed, but they're like brand new. They're just rolled up, like just taking up a corner in my house for some reason. Got all kinds of DVDs, random stuff. So we didn't really have a theme this month, so we might come up with a theme. Since we're doing space, maybe I'll dig through there, Joey, and I'll see if there's any space stuff. But if you are selected as a winner, we will be in touch. So, will Brian Stelter be in any of these horror movies? Possibly. But I did only pick 4. There are a lot of shitty space horrors, but these are shitty space sequels. So these are all sequels in series that, for some reason, happened in space, but didn't originally start in space. So we're not talking... There's no Alien movies in here. There's no Predator. These are movies that did not originate in space. They, for some reason, went to space because they ran out of ideas on Earth. And I, for one, think that is a hilarious direction to go in a film. So There is a bit of a 30-second delay here on the questions, and you'll see it in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the first question so you're ready. What year does Leprechaun in Space take place? Is it number 1, the year 3025? Number 2, the year 2327? Number 3, the year 2100? Or number 4, the year 2096? And remember, you have to type the number in the comments. And only your first answer counts. Fournier man, you can try. I've watched the live feed on the phone, and if you can get if you can get a number in, you can get the answer in. But yeah, I understand it's delayed. That's the one thing we don't love about this trivia software is it's got that 30-second delay, and tweaking the counters doesn't always work. So, like I said, it just kind of baits and switches you on that first question a little bit. The counter's a bit of a lie. But like I said, I'm sorry. There are like 3 or 4 date questions, and that's just because all these movies, funny enough, happen in a very similar timeline. So I think it'd be really funny to get our buddy Josh from Movie Timelines to maybe see where these franchises could have overlapped somewhere. Okay, we got some answers. We do have a right answer on the first question, so very nice. Very nice. Again, we're on the honor system here. I'm assuming that you don't know how to work Google on the internet machine and you're pulling these answers from somebody else. Sharky, you better not. Honor system. Okay, question 2 is, in Critters 4, the critters are unable to shoot poison darts at their victims. True or false? Any big Critters fans out there? You realize it was 27 years from the point that Critters 4 was made before we got another Critters movie. I honestly don't understand why there was more than one Critters. I have a hard enough time believing that there was more than one Gremlins. So, yeah. So in Critters 4, is it true or false that the critters are unable to shoot poison darts at their victims? Do not answer 3 or 4. You will not get it right. Just... That's a gimme, okay? So, do they break from the norms in addition to being in space? But Critters is maybe the most space related out of all of these movies because the critters are from space. And there's like, the whole bounty hunter thing, but they all occur on Earth except for Critters 4. So, it counts as a shitty space sequel. You better be joking, Sharky. I'm tracking your IP right now. I've got YouTube on the phone right now. I'm going to go full Karen. So. All right. Okay. All right. Whoever answered blank, you're going to timeout. All right. Question number 3. Jason kills director David Cronenberg in a cameo role in Jason X via a spear, machete, liquid nitrogen, or electrocution. You know I was going to put Jason X in here. Come on. Jason X is, like, criminally underrated. I think it is one of the best, like, trash movies. It's so fun. And there's so much carnage in Jason X. It literally has a huge body count. So, and David Cronenberg makes a cameo appearance. So how does he get killed? That was his only condition. He lent... the director of this film was a protege of his, and he wanted to be in it. He used a lot of stuff, and his only condition was that he wanted to get killed by Jason. So, and there's a lot of iconic kills in this movie. The liquid nitrogen kill is pretty memorable, even though MythBusters did debunk it. So, what we got here? Answers coming up. What do we got? Better be seeing some green in here. You can do it. Calculate. Crunchitize me, Captain. Well, I assure you, the answers were tabulated. Okay, let's say show up because I can see the live trivia over here, and there's a delay on the feed. So, very nice. Okay, the director of Hellraiser 4 chose to be credited as Alan Smithy, which is like a pseudonym for the industry, but he's actually 1. Rupert Harvey. 2. Kevin Yeager. 3. James Isaac. Or 4. Brian Trenchard Smith. So the director of Hellraiser 4 thought so low of the movie he didn't want to be listed on the original playbill, and chose to be credited as Alan Smithy, and he actually got a lot less money. Miramax was able to weasel out of paying a bigger price. So honestly, if you're gonna direct it, you got to stand by it. That's my opinion. If you're gonna cash a check, you're putting your name on it, right? So Rupert, Kevin, James, or Brian, who's the actual director of Hellraiser 4? And it is, the Hellraiser is an odd franchise because it starts out so strong and then it has such weird lows. 4 was funny because they went to space, but it was completely unnecessary, and that's what makes it a shitty space sequel. But doesn't mean it's unwatchable. You should watch everything once. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. You got to have be able to form a better opinion about it. So, congratulations to those who know that Kevin Yeager is not actually Alan Smithy. So, here's another date and time question, but it features Jason X. Jason X is set in what time? Is it 1, the 40th century, 2, the 24th century, 3, the 23rd century, or 4, the 21st century? This is a bit of a trick question. For those of you that really know, prioritize where the movie ends up, not necessarily where it starts. Hope everybody's had a great week. I can't believe March is already here. It's pretty insane. Not sure. I haven't been able to go out and watch any new movies. I still want to watch Knock at the Cabin Door. That's been on my list. But I hope everybody's having a great start to the month. Hopefully it continues. So, all right. So Jason X actually takes place in the 24th century. It does start in the 21st century though. But the majority of the movie occurs in the 24th century after he is killed in the 21st century, and he is reconstructed and... Oh, shit. Did I type that wrong? You're right, Fournier. I think I meant to put 25th on that. 24th is supposed to be 25th. I did get that wrong. I fat-fingered that typing them in. Apologies. But if you got close enough, that was the correct answer. All right. Sorry. We all make mistakes. But speaking of mistakes, where does Critters 4 take place? You know it's in space somewhere, but where specifically in space? Is it 1, the moon? Is it 2, the Earth? Is it 3, a space station? Or 4, a spaceship? Yes, believe it or not, the Earth is in space. So technically, every horror movie is a space movie. I guess you could say like stuff that happens like extra dimensional is not in space, but technically I would think that still falls under space. I don't know. I don't get paid the big bucks for that. So, is it a space station, the moon, Earth, or a spaceship? And you get all these crappy horror, like 80s action and horror movies mixed up. There was a lot of space movies back then. I guess there's still a lot of space movies, but there's a lot of space movies that kind of run together. So the correct answer was Critters 4 actually takes place on a space station. The other critters take place on Earth, which is also in space. Alrighty. So, these are hard, I'm sorry. This is why they don't let me do trivia. But, if you really like me being your host, you should tell everybody and yell about it. So, if you don't like me as host, yell about it. I like hate mail. I welcome it. When does Hellraiser 4 take place? Is it 1, the 30th century? Is it 2, the 24th century? Is it 3, the 23rd century? Or is it 4, the 22nd century? Ooh, this is hard. There's 3 really close to each other and then 1 really far away. What does that mean? Is that the obvious wrong answer or is it the obvious right answer? Use your test-taking skills. Like I said, these are low hanging fruit. You know, I didn't want anybody to get a 10 out of 10 on these. I wanted this to be a thinker because I mean it's shitty space sequel horror trivia. Come on, this isn't biker bar trivia, you guys. You gotta come prepared. So it is the 22nd century, the not so distant future. The events of Hellraiser 4 take place on a space station, by the way. So that's 2 space station movies. And what, if I remember right, the premise of that was that it's like the distant relative of the guy who invented the box, and he's trying to undo the mistake by sciencing the shit out of it, which of course is a bad idea. I'm pretty sure it's the plot of Doom. So, okay. Next question. Many of the scenes in Critters 4 use set pieces and footage from what other film? Is it 1, Cocoon? Is it 2, Blade Runner? Is it 3, Android? Or is it 4, Aliens? So these cheap bastards actually recycled a lot of props and set pieces from one of these other movies. Which one is it? 1, Cocoon, 2, Blade Runner, 3, Android, or 4, Aliens? And somehow ended up with a much worse product. Oh, Blade Runner got cut off. There's definitely an R on that. I would never disrespect that medium. Love that movie. And the answer is 3, Android. It was actually being filmed at the same time. And Critters 3 and Critters 4 were actually filmed back to back. Which makes the puzzling lack of the drop shot continuity even stranger. Because there was no excuse to say that the movie was starting out in Kansas when it's clearly still in LA at the end of 3. But that's for another time. That's always bothered me. That seems like a really simple thing. Just don't type the wrong caption. But next question. What is the leprechaun not referred to in Leprechaun 4? Is it 1, monster? Is it 2, leprechaun? Is it 3, bastard? Or is it 4, alien? What do they not call the leprechaun in Leprechaun 4? Fornier, it may have... There's a bit of delay, so... Like I said, we're still not 100% in love with this trivia software. We're trying to build something. This is kind of... Just the delay kind of sucks, so... Type them early. That's the only recipe we've got, because it's not always... It seems to cut the answers off earlier than the timer stops, and still trying to figure out what we can do to compensate for that. But I hope you're all learning something tonight. That's what we're here to do. This is a community service. We're teaching you about terrible movies tonight. So, they actually never call him... The correct answer is they never call him a leprechaun in Leprechaun 4. Which is really funny. They call him everything else. They do not ever refer to him as a leprechaun. When he is clearly a little man running around in a green suit with a little top hat. So, that's probably one of the funniest jokes about 4. It's pretty good. Okay, so here's a little bit of a deep cut. What Friday the 13th series contributor returned to help out with Jason X? Is it Steve Miner? Is it Sean S. Cunningham? Is it Larry Zerner? Or is it Adam Marcus? So Steve Miner's number 1. Sean S. Cunningham's number 2. Larry Zerner's number 3. And number 4 is Adam Marcus. Which Friday the 13th series contributor returned to Jason X? So which one of these guys from the OG first 4 movies came back in 2001 to push Jason X through the door? Which seemed like a very strange choice, because they're 2 very different movies. And I have to say, Snowshoes Kitties, if you're on, Margaret, I'm sorry, there's no Kane Hodder questions tonight. It would have been just too easy to put a Kane Hodder question in Shitty Space Trivia. I'm not going to do it. I respect Kane too much. So, the correct answer is Sean S. Cunningham came back for Jason X after producing Friday the 13th Part 1. So, The backstory of that is because he was actually working on, he was helping with Freddy vs. Jason, and that was stuck in development hell. So we got Jason X before Freddy vs. Jason because they couldn't figure out what the hell to do with Freddy vs. Jason. So, two very different movies stylistically. And now it's time to reveal the winner. I know it's been a tough night. You've been fighting the machine. You've been fighting those bastard leprechauns in space. Playing with your puzzle cube. Riding on space stations. But a winner must be announced. And it appears, if my screen will render it properly, it looks like Fournier won. Even though he didn't get an answer in. It actually, maybe it did count your answer. But that's good. It's a very respectable showing tonight, guys. You got on the board. Thank you all for playing. Of course, we will be back with another rendition of horror trivia. I don't know if we're scheduled for next week. We do them on Thursdays. That's usually the plan. I don't make the plans. I show up as a substitute teacher when I'm needed. But thank you all for coming out, and thank you all for watching our premieres. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow night. We've got another great slate of movies for the weekend, both Friday and Saturday. And if you are interested, if you're curious, we do have a Patreon. And if you contribute to our Patreon, there's some cool prizes. You can directly support our independent productions here at KOH. And some of the tiers allow you to have a bigger say in what we can pick and watch. And maybe you can even guest star on some episodes. So... but we appreciate all your support, no matter what you do, where you do it, how you do it. We love you all. Thank you. Show us to your friends. Show us to your parents. And stay scary. Have a good night. Have a wonderful weekend. And hopefully we'll see you in the chat tomorrow night. Stay